Hello, nature friends. I am out on the trail again. Another beautiful day today. I don't know what we're gonna find on this one, but we'll have a look. We'll see what we can see. Again, I've just got, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes before I have to turn around and go back to head back to get the kids. But we'll have an explore. This section of trail, this is part of, obviously it's another old rail bed trail that they've converted into primarily ATVs, but anybody can use it. I've seen horses and bikes, a lot of walkers along here. And so it's very wide and open, which doesn't make it great for a lot of forest things and birds. But wide open stuff likes it. You see stuff like this along trails like this that you don't see anywhere else. This is wild asparagus, which I gather is just as edible as the garden variety, although the stalks come up a little bit thinner. But I've never tried it. Of course, I have all our favorites. This one's New England aster. You see the little bumblebee there? Maybe not. There he goes. He's just a small species, I don't know what he is. And then, of course, the goldenrod. I looked some of these up last time I was working on a video. I think that's Canada goldenrod. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. We've got the spent seed heads over here of Joe Pye weed, spotted Joe Pye weed. This stuff's really cool. Gets these pretty purple flowers. Tends to be associated with wetter areas. Oh! There is a little tiny bird right there. That is a sedge wren. No way! Oh my goodness. I have never actually seen a sedge wren in person, if you can believe that. I've heard them. You can hear them singing in wetlands all the time, but they're very secretive, and so you don't tend to see them. Wow, it's so close. Oh man. Okay, well, I spent way too long standing there trying to get a photo or a video or something to share with you. And as soon as I pulled out my binoculars and camera to try and capture something, he disappeared into the lower vegetation and I couldn't get him to pop back up again. But I will put a photo here from Creative Commons. That's what he looked like. They're, as I say, not uncommon, but very secretive, and I never see them, really. I do know that they nest here in these wetlands. Anyway, that was a really cool encounter. Will be hard to top that on this outing. But we'll keep walking. I have another wetland destination in mind for the end of this trail. There might be stuff down there, I don't know. Oh, can you hear? In these shrubs here, Also typical of nature walks. As soon as I stop to listen and show the noise, he stops making the noise. Anyway, it was a catbird. Maybe you caught it on the rewind the video and see if you can catch him. But he goes, meh, meh. And they're common in shrubby areas like this. A fair number of birds around. I've heard some blackbird flocks going over too. Blackbirds tend to gather together in large flocks during migration season in winter. These ones are all red-winged blackbirds that I was hearing today, but grackles do it too, and rusty blackbirds, and starlings. They're not really blackbirds, so I guess those are our main blackbird species around here. Come on. There's lots of stuff to smell upon along this trail, apparently. You can hear some chickadees here. Just in here. Oh, go figure. They stopped too. The common bird. You coming? Oh. Maybe you can hear the call notes there a little bit. The chickadees. They don't do their chickadee dee-dees too much when they're foraging. It tends to be more of an alarm call or a call of concern, I guess. They just do these little short call notes. Hard to describe them, really. I don't think I could mimic them. Just to communicate with each other while they're foraging and sort of keep the flock all together. It sounds very chattery. Here's some more pretty meadowy flower stuff. I did look this one up. This is panicled aster, which I've been saying for like, I don't know, my last 3 videos or something like that, with the thin leaves and the white flowers. One of the things that is characteristic to me about these flowers is that the center changes color as the flowers age. I don't know if you can see that. So some of them have yellow centers, and then the older flowers have dark centers. And I use that sort of as a characteristic of the species. Over here, I don't think I've showed this one. Well, maybe I have. Here's another one that does the same thing. Here. You have the light colored flowers and the dark colored flowers. That one's got a more purpley color to it. Quite a bit of that one around. Oops. Oh, there's a frog. He has just tucked himself into the vegetation. I don't think I'll be able to catch him down here. Huh. They're quick to jump, some of them. If I had my expert frog catchers with me, they could get them. Could show them off. They're way better at catching frogs than I am. Come on, Chip Chip. Good boy. We got over here a section with lots of these rushes here, which are a type of horsetail, they're called, even though these ones don't show the horsetail-y part, which is, I believe, the reproductive portion of the species. These would be the non-reproductive, like the leaves or whatever. It's a very ancient line of plants, going back to like dinosaur times and whatever. We still have a number of species, number of plant species around that are that old, but a lot of the stuff that you see here is more recently evolved than that. But the horsetails are really cool. They're usually indicative of damper areas. But you often see them along roadsides, disturbed areas too. I guess they would get enough runoff, perhaps. We are getting up to the wetland areas that I was aiming for. This area here is just a little narrow strip along the side of the rail trail. It seems to be mostly willow, cattail. I don't know the species of willow. There's a whole bunch of species of willow, and most of them look the same unless you catch them at flowering time in the spring. Or at least the same to me. I'm sure an expert could tell them apart. Got the cattails with their fluffy seed heads. There's cattails. Here's a pretty little pond down here. All the vegetation is starting to die back from the pond surfaces now. This one has a lot of pondweed and algae, it looks like. Not a great deal else at the moment. No ducks or other wetland birds that I can see. Of course, the other thing that happens here in the fall, in September, let's see if I can catch it. Can I catch it? I think this is it right here. Again, I'm doing the pointing over my shoulder thing. The red trees. I passed on my way here to this trail, I passed a section of swamp, wetland that was just all red. All the maples had turned completely red, which is, they're always the first ones to turn in the fall. The swamp maples, they're actually silver maples mostly, or red maples that grow in swamps. But they're always the first ones to turn because something about having the wet feet. Until fall's on its way, even if the upland maples, upland forests aren't turning yet. Well, they're starting to get brownish, a lot of them. Here we are at the big wetland with this beautiful little open spot. I'll share that a little bit better over here. Isn't that pretty? So lovely. I've had some really neat encounters here too. Back in the spring there was a sora just in here foraging along the edges, and I did a playback with my phone just once or twice of his song, and he flew right in to investigate where this intruding male was coming from. As soon as he realized that there was nobody there, he flew off again and went back to foraging. But that was really neat. I'd never seen a sora up that close either, which was really cool. Can you hear over this way? There he goes again. Might be hard over the wind. It's very windy today. He's gone quiet too. There's a tree frog. Oh. There he goes. Hopefully you heard that. Tree frog. The young of this is true of both frogs and birds, I find, where the young individuals of the year sort of like practice their songs in the fall, and so you'll hear just random little snippets of weird sounding songs or calls as the young birds sort of have a first go at practicing their songs, which is kind of neat. Oh, there's another one. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can see it down here. These guys right here. Chip, stay up here, please. 2 turtles sunning themselves on a log. I'm going to cut you off for a second while I have a look. 2 little guys just having a sun. I haven't seen turtles in a little while, so that's kind of cool. They're really close. That shot that I just shared was through my binoculars, which means obviously I can't use my phone and the binoculars to record it at the same time. They're just small guys, quite young, maybe a couple years old. I don't know how fast, these are painted turtles. I don't know how fast painted turtles tend to grow on yearly average. You can tell, apparently, at least in the younger ages, their ages by how many rings are on their the scutes of their shells, kind of like tree ring aging. But you obviously have to be a lot closer to the turtles to see them than we are here. Also, what I was pointing at, or starting to point at while looking at them, was the sound of a green frog croaking. Obviously for all of these organisms the breeding season is long since over, so they're practicing, or I don't know, feeling overwhelmed with joy at the season, something like that. Otherwise pretty quiet out here for birds. There was a lot more bird life at the other wetland that I started out at. Oh, you can hear another tree frog over here. Here. There goes the dog. Hi, Chip. Are you happy? You want to say hello? Sit, sit, sit. Attaboy. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna turn around, start heading back. I have kiddos who will be upset if I'm very late picking them up. I think we've seen what we can see along this section of trail as well. We've got some milkweed through here. Some of the milkweed in some spots has started to puff out, but these ones are still quite green. Oh, here's something that's puffy. You ever do the Make-A-Wish thing? We have seed heads. I think you're supposed to do it with dandelions, but what did you wish for? Oh, the other thing I was going to share before I leave the wetlands here was regarding the cattail puffs. It's interesting to see them puffing already like that. Speaking of fluffy seeds, that typically the cattail seeds will puff up from the cattail stalks and they'll fly off on the wind just like milkweed seeds will. But when you see seed heads like this that are all puffy and sort of stuck on the cattail stem and haven't released and flown off places, it's usually because there's a teensy tiny caterpillar inside and it's bound all the seeds together using the silk that all caterpillars are capable of making, or most caterpillars are capable of making, in order to bind all the seeds together to keep them from floating away. And then the caterpillars spend the winter hiding in there, and it provides protection and cover during the winter. And then they also have the seeds as their food source in the fall and the spring. And then the caterpillars pupate in the spring and turn into moths in the later spring. The moth is called a shy cosmet. They look like this. They're pretty small. Obviously they would need to be in order to fit inside cattail heads, but you can find them if you look around. Let's see. I think I'm pointing at the right spot here. See some fluffy cattail heads in here. If you take one of these home, or even just at the side of the trail or whatever you want to do, and have a little container that you can dissect it in, you put it in the container and take it all apart and look very carefully, you might find these little caterpillars. They're pretty. Oh, I wonder if I can get close enough to this. It was a butterfly. Can we see it? Just perching here. I can't tell if I can see it. If I can see it in editing, I'll circle it. It's out this way somewhere. Maybe here? That could be it. Looks orange. It's a, maybe I'll try and get a little closer. It's a comma, or possibly a question mark, for the markings that are on its underside. Hopefully that was in focus. He stayed much better than I thought he would. Excuse me. Yeah, and they're common fall or winter species, and also common spring, early spring species, because the adults will overwinter. They'll find a nook to tuck themselves away in, and they'll spend the winter as an adult and come out as soon as the days start warming up in the spring. So they're common about this time of year. He was just out on the road here. I don't know if he was sunning or if he was getting minerals from the gravel mud. But oh, Chip, stay, stay, sit. Sorry, sit, stay, stay. Okay. I hope you can get this one too. Oh, did you see him? Oh, he was too fast. Ugh. I thought about trying to grab him. I thought, no, it would be nicer not to bother him that much. Anyway, he was a red-bellied snake. Also common out in the trails at this time of year because they're sunning, trying to warm up when the days are cooler. Although it's quite warm today. He's disappeared. I have no choice or no chance of trying to catch him now. That was cool too. I haven't seen one of them all summer. Not uncommon, but they tend to be associated with woodlands, and I don't know. We don't have them around our property, even though we've got some woods there, but our woods are more swampy. So I think they like the upland woods more, which we don't have a lot of. Well, that was cool. I don't know if that quite tops the sedge wren. I think the sedge wren's hard to beat, but he was cool. I think I was saying something before. Now I've forgotten. That happens to me a lot. Hopefully it wasn't anything of great import. If it was, I will finish my thoughts on the screen for you later. Well, we're starting to get back towards the road again. Back toward this other wetland. That was right at the start of the trail. Sounds quieter now. Except for the crickets. Lots of crickets and katydids out at this time of year. Most of what you're hearing at this time of year is not birds, it's all the crickets, katydids. Chirping I would need to look up their life cycle. I don't actually know much about their life cycle. I assume that they lay eggs. They spend the winter as eggs and then grow and develop over the summer, and the adults emerge in the fall for mating, and these are all their mating calls, sounds, and then they mate and lay eggs that spend the winter. This is my hypothesis, only because of when you hear crickets. You don't hear them at other times of year. So, but I don't actually know. I will look that up. I'll put the answer here in editing. Isn't editing fabulous? You can find out the answers to everything and then share it after the fact. The brain can only hold so much. There's some goldfinches up high in the tree. Not something you guys would be able to see though. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap it there. Thanks for coming along with me again today. I hope we enjoyed seeing some of our cool stuff. Well, I certainly enjoyed seeing some of the cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed coming along and sharing in some of the discoveries anyway. And in the meantime, till I see you again, or you see me again, I hope you get out, do your own explorations, find some cool stuff. You can share with me in the comments if you find anything really awesome. I'd love to hear it. And we'll chat with you again on our next sunny day. Bye.